We don't know anything. We have no idea, right? Maybe science is wrong. Okay, cool. I'm going to choose to make the assumption to believe in science because my other choice is just not doing anything, and I don't want to be a passive human being. Cheers. Cheers to 15 subscribers. Alright. Welcome back to Small Talk Big World, podcast where we talk about anything with anyone, anywhere, at any time. I'm your host, Miguel Dickinson, a self-proclaimed artist, a hopeless romantic, and a college dropout, some would say. I know it's been a while, guys, but, sometimes you gotta focus on bigger and better things, such as internships, job, working, things like that. And I've heard you guys on my Twitter feed and on the YouTube comments saying, bring back Dick Fam, where's the podcast? All those comments streaming in. So I've been hearing you guys, I've been listening. So here we are. Podcast about religion. We're diving deep into this. If you are religious, not religious, or semi-religious, you will enjoy this podcast and you will take something from this podcast. We have used to be completely atheist, now is religious. We have a agnostic.
No, spiritualist.
I'm just kidding. Well, in terms of, he's a spiritualist. Okay, so religious, spiritualist, not religious. We got a great trio here. Yeah, you guys want to say anything before we really dive in? How's it going? How's life been? I know you've been doing some running.
Yeah.
How's it going? I haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah.
I heard you had that adopted thing the other day. It's on YouTube.
It's kind of tough. I've still been coping with it. But
Ian's my brother. If you guys don't know, he lives with me. Unfortunately, this is Akram.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately.
Yeah. How's it going, Akram? Anything new?
Not really. Just boring college.
Where do you go?
San Jose.
Say it again.
San Jose State.
Okay. How do you like it?
Just chill in my dorm most of the time.
Mm.
Hide away from the light.
Do you have a roommate?
Yeah.
Is he cool?
He doesn't talk and we don't talk to each other, but it's
really?
good though. It's like a good not talking to each other relationship.
You guys don't say anything?
No. I walk in the room, don't say hi. You walk in the room, I don't say hi. But
really?
Yeah.
It's not awkward.
Isn't that kind of weird?
Dude,
You're literally living in the same place and
Yeah.
you're just sitting there like.
We have a chill dynamic though. It's like one where we understand we don't have to talk to each other to be okay with each other. Sometimes when people don't talk to each other, they assume it's because there's beef.
Yeah.
You could but no, for us it's like a really good relationship built around not talking to each other.
What if he just hates you though?
No, he doesn't. Cause he talks. Sometimes he'll say something he's like, hey, Akram, I got this thing. Do you want this? Or I'm just like, oh yeah, sure.
Do you when you're talking on the phone? Is he in the room?
Sometimes I can say whatever I want though.
You say some weird bro, you got her pregnant? Oh my god! And the guy's just like, what the? Who am I dealing with?
No, dude, trust me. I could get freaking butt naked in front of him. He would not care.
Okay,
no.
Go ahead.
He's legitimately no. He's he doesn't care about anything. I could say or do anything and he will not react. It's crazy because he's I don't want to be. It's not mean.
He's a spy sent by your parents.
No,
he's dead inside.
Hey, can you cut this though?
Yeah, for sure.
Alright, fucking.
He's not gonna watch it.
No, but it's just I feel mean saying.
Okay, I'll if you want me to, I'll cut it.
All right. He's a functional autistic. That's
okay.
Right. Yeah. So we get along with each other perfectly.
Why do we need to cut that?
No, it's not a big deal. No, it's just that I just don't want to.
Ian's been functional. Okay, that part I'm gonna cut. I'm gonna get canceled. I'm gonna get canceled by the 15 people watching this. Alright, so that's what's been going on. School, running, anything else going on tonight?
I don't know, Miguel. I heard you also been cooking up with the ladies.
Hey, listen, here's the deal. I've been celibate for a while now. Some would say involuntarily, but that's just words to me. And I went out last night, or no, last weekend, and when I'm not gonna say what was making me more confident, but there's a certain elixir you could find at your local Walmart, 7-Eleven, pretty much anywhere. It kind of exists all around. I'm not gonna give the exact name. But once you drink this elixir, you become a lot more confident, especially around the ladies. So that kind of empowered me to talk to pretty much every female I saw at the party. It was a big party, so. But out of, I think, the 30 females I talked to, I think I got one number. So, 1 in 30.
She must have low standards.
Yeah, she must have been blind or something, but it's all right. We're gonna might be hanging out later tonight, so stay tuned for the update on that. It's like next one. Yeah, it didn't work out.
Oh no.
She has a boyfriend. She thought it was gay. Now we're gonna get to what you have all been waiting for, the juicy part. One of the most curious, interesting conversations that a human being can have with another human being. Religion. I'm gonna start with this very simple question. Let's see where it goes. Do you believe in God? Go. Yes or no? Yes or no? Then we can go.
Solid yes.
Yes.
No. Oh.
Dun, dun.
Explain yourself. You start. What proof do you have? Show me the evidence, bro. Show me the data. Where is it?
I mean, you can't prove that there's. When we're talking about God, it's
Point
hard to like
proven.
talk about proof. There's no like concrete proof of anything, and like there could be anything. Like
What about this? This is white. Concrete proof?
of what? Of it
It's
being white?
Yeah.
Yeah, but like
You're supposed to say
the
no.
concept, what?
I was trying to help you out. It's true what you're saying. You can't. To some extent, you can't prove anything. You cannot prove that this cup is white. What's your proof? Oh, it looks white. What if your senses are deceiving you?
Mm-hmm.
There are many examples of our senses giving us the wrong image. Have you ever put a straw in a cup of water and you see it seems like it bends? Is that actually happening? No. So how do we know that that happens all the time and this isn't white? Maybe it's like green. Maybe it's a color we haven't even seen yet. So you are right in saying that we don't really know anything. So it's limitless. Maybe you're a frog. Maybe this table's made out of pigeons, But go on.
Dude, you messed me up, Brad. I don't. No, but like when I'm talking about like religion, I don't say like there's any. I don't think about proof. I just like think about how I feel, which obviously like not the best thing to like do for like things you believe. Like you shouldn't just be like, oh, I feel like this, but just like thinking about it deeply.
So basically, you're not using your intellect; you're just using your emotions to come up with ideas.
No. I mean it's still partly intellect, but like.
But the right side of
point
his brain is all emotion, and the left side is all logic. So I mean, it's you pick and choose.
Is this psychologist? I can say that's cap.
No, psychology.
Maybe for the spiritual.
Okay, but I'm gonna keep this kind of short. But basically, I just think it's like kind of crazy to think that consciousness and like humanity and like just life in general is just a product of randomness.
Mm-hmm.
I see like some people could believe that just because how vast the universe is and how like
Small-minded people are.
no, that's not what I'm saying. Like there's like gotta be like a chance of like so many things happening because of how big the universe is. Like we can't even comprehend. It's like you can't even think about how long a light year is. Like to us, a light year would literally be like. So it doesn't even like.
What you're saying is nature and our universe is so unattainable that there can be things that happen that we don't necessarily have knowledge of how it could happen, right?
Yeah.
That we have so little information that anything could be true. Let's say you reach inside of a box, you don't know what could be inside the box. For all you know, it's a duck with no arms. For all you know, it's another human. Like you have such little information, therefore, what could possibly be there is limitless. Is that what you're saying?
I guess, but also what I'm saying is that it's I don't think you can attribute consciousness to randomness because then that would be saying that all 7 billion humans on Earth and all whatever how many billion there have been like in the universe, all their thoughts which like are based on reason are just random. Like how is like us doing a podcast just because of like random chemicals bouncing around in our head?
Can I here? That's the beginning of it. That's the platform for it. Okay, it is random by definition because it's kind of random. It starts randomly, right? And the universe started randomly. I would like to define random, but it's kind of hard. It's not in the sense that you'd think. It's kind of random to me is that if you started it over, the outcome could be different every single time. Do you agree with that definition of random?
Yeah.
Do you agree with that definition of random? Okay. So we started as humans, right? And what drives us forward and what shapes everything that we are is evolution.
Yeah, I agree.
So what we're doing right, even our activities right now that seem so higher conscious, like so like deciding to get a camera, decide a topic, get together, film it in this cool set, like that could still be just as much part of evolution as eating and shitting and having sex.
Yeah.
It's just another manifestation of it. You know what I mean? Like in the basic sense, food, sex, what else? Like,
I don't know.
But then as you transcend though, as you move on from like the most basic needs, your needs become more and more like specific. They become more and more refined, more higher, more for the benefit of others rather than the benefit of yourself. In the
Facts.
beginning, you're just like trying to
but
survive.
what's the seed for that?
The seed is that's what we think. That's what honestly I think is the like more godlike nature, because I think it's like there's like a beast. We're in the beast form right now, but I think we're truly like every God's within all of us.
So are you willing to completely decouple our like monkey mind behavior of eat food now, all that stuff, with making a podcast, deciding to become a runner, deciding to start a business? Are you willing to completely decouple those?
I think the reason we are choosing to do this, we're choosing to do this, is because our higher faculties are looking for more stimulation. We've been stimulating so much of this lower area by like what's it called, distracting ourselves through like food, through like all these basal all these basal urges, and so a lot of people end up becoming confused and thinking that they are the basal need. They are the one who needs to. They're the one who needs to eat. They're one who constantly needs to take. They're the one who needs to put others down and lift themselves up. Then, like as we like transcend, as our more basal needs are met, we start realizing that this is what truly matters is helping ourselves evolve and helping others evolve.
Okay.
I think.
So just to ensure I know what you're saying, these higher conscious activities, I guess we could term it as, are
Godlike nature.
Are godlike, are controlled by a
Oh no, it's controlled by
super
us.
force.
Because we're God.
It's thanks to some other force besides evolution. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that other force is us though. Like whether it's in a physical form or whether it's in a material
Who
spiritual
influenced
form.
it? Who can you credit? Who can you attribute that to?
I'd say it's like the.
Is it just evolution? Is it just biology, basic chemical reactions,
I'd
or
say
is it
it's
something else?
Oh no, I'd say it's like the void basically. Like honestly, if I go all the way back, I'd say it's nothingness creating everythingness. But like it's too hard to say. That's what I mean by like how like on the what's it called, Big Bang, like unstoppable force hits immovable object, and then we just get created out of it. I think that's basically what we are. We're basically God trying to realize himself through us in this form. That's why we're all like so cut off, and so we wanna. That's why we're constantly looking for meaning. If we were truly this beast form, we wouldn't be looking for any meaning besides what's just in this everyday like living. Like why would I care if someone is in like freaking any other country starving if I'm full right now? Like that would be if we were operating 100% off that kind of beast mentality. Like why the hell do I care if your children are starving, if your children are dying? But we feel the need to bring others out of their situation so that we can all create together.
Okay. I don't know what to say after that.
I had something to say. It's like,
Well, good thing we got a commercial. Thanks to our sponsors. We'll see you right after the break. I'm Jim Wamsley. I'm from Flagstaff, Arizona, and I'm a runner, man. It's sick. Running's cool. I couldn't really get into other sports when I was younger because I was such a pussy. At least that's what my dad told me. I still don't know what it means though. It's so cool seeing all the people. So dope, man. Especially when I fuck everyone up. I'm so fast. I like running on the mountains, man. The mountains are so thick. Me go so fast on the mountains. Beep 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 beep. So thick, man, so thick. Sometimes I run with other people, but they're so slow, man, so slow as fuck. So I usually just run alone. Sometimes I fall in water by accident because I'm a clumsy guy. It's okay though, because I just get up and keep on chugging. Chug, 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 chug. My name is Jim Wally, and I have messages of proof. Where we were at was whether or not these higher conscious behaviors are, which you didn't even, I feel like you haven't even answered, are, can be attributed to God or just to evolution.
alright,
So
I
which
think-
one is it? It's literally one or the other. Make your stance right now.
I'd say evolution is what God desires.
Okay, so with God. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Yo,
God. That's
I
all you
don't.
know.
I think I don't think you should separate them because I think
Yeah.
evolution is like its own thing, but the whole process of life. I mean, at least what I believe is that, like I said, because it's so like complicated and like, even not just high conscious life, but like the idea of like or the concept of like animals or like any organism, not just animals, but like bacteria and stuff, reproducing is like totally different than like I mean, maybe you can say it's not. It's like the same as like the other laws of like say like physics or like chemistry or stuff. That's like really like, it's not about like consciousness. It's just like the way things happen. But I think life is like totally different than that. In that like people are like trying to like survive and like create like new things, compared to like.
So what's your
like-
point? Is your only point that there are more advanced species? Yeah, obviously there's a difference in the intelligence of species. That's your only point. That doesn't prove that there's a God. That proves there's
No.
evolution did its job. Some
Okay,
species
but
are further along
why
because
is-
they had to survive differently. They started in different environments and went to different environments.
He was talking about how evolution is like what?
That's like God's like or like God like made that for. I mean, that's just like a whole point of life to like move on, and that's not a concept that you get from like an atom of like a piece of ceramic. Like this, it doesn't want to reproduce, right? And life is like a different thing. Like we're like moving on our own. Okay, maybe we're not. If there's like no God, it's just random. But what was it? Oh, okay, yeah. So like he put that into life that you want to survive, you want to move on, and that's what evolution is. It's like you're just like adapting towards like what's most like evolutionary like advantageous.
The
like,
closest
what's gonna
thing to
make you survive
perfection,
most.
and God is what is perfection. Basically, we're trying to attain that godlike state through this evolution. If a bird, if like let's say a squirrel, it sees a pile of nuts together, and then would it choose to go up the tree to get the nuts, or would it just choose to grab the nuts that are right there? It's so much easier to think about it in terms of like whatever is the easiest way to make myself closer to myself and realize that my external world is like a reflection of my internal world, kind of thing. Like,
So the only thing that it sounds like you guys are saying is that you can make the case that God, it is possible that a supreme force created what we have now. That's all you're saying, which is not a very significant argument, right? All it's saying is that that's a possibility. You're not saying
but we're
it
saying
has to be this way. You're
Y'all,
saying that can
no.
be one of the
You're
that can be
not
one of the explanations
What
of
I'm
our
saying
universe.
is, I think life is too complicated to be a product of randomness of like basic like.
Okay, so now
it's
we're
too
going back to
perfectly
reason four.
imperfect. It's too perfectly imperfect.
Well, yeah,
Okay.
the fact that like people can just do whatever they want. Obviously, like, I'm not gonna like stand up right now and take off my pants.
And the
but,
fact that we
I
all
could do it
desire
if
to
I
help,
wanted to.
the fact that we all desire to help each
Yeah.
other in some way or another is like, even like obviously some people that are the ones that need help, they're not thinking about it nearly as much as we are, just because we're in such a state of like, we've met all our basal needs and we're moving up the realm of like of consciousness. We're just like, wow, I have everything I need. I have more than what I need. I can give you what I need just to make you feel better, and it won't help me immediately, but just that internal, I gain that like internal satisfaction knowing that you've been externally satisfied, you know?
Okay, let's try to keep focused in on this idea of this ideological battle between there is a God, there's not. So, Ian, your point, which I've heard 1,000 times, which I thought myself, and maybe I still do, I don't know, is that nature is too perfect for there not to be some dude in the sky controlling all of it.
I don't think he controls it.
Right.
I'd say. Okay.
Dude,
Okay. For there to be
those are
another,
just
for
details.
there to be a higher being, yeah.
Those are that's essentially what it is, and I think that makes sense. But at the end of the day, we wouldn't exist if nature wasn't perfect. There's kind of this paradox that we wouldn't even be here and having this conversation. Nature wasn't perfect. So for this to even happen, nature did have to be perfect. So for your argument, you would have to admit that there has to be a God for there to be something like this. If you're ready to admit that, then fine.
That there
You know what I'm
has to be
saying?
God.
There has to be a God for a universe like this to exist.
I
Are you
agree.
ready to admit that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And also realize the moment we stepped out of nature was the more separated we became and the more people weren't able to satisfy their needs as much. Like the moment that we chose to take and own stuff was the moment that we stepped away from our godlike nature of everything flowing and everyone receives and everyone gives kind of thing.
Okay, so we definitely step back from, it seems like, our natural and more like good tendencies.
Yeah,
Now
yeah.
we're
We
in
didn't
this
even. It
capitalist
wasn't in
structure
our
and
minds. It
everything.
wasn't even like conscious that we were being good. We're just like, this is the way. This
It
is
was
the way
natural.
rightness
It wasn't
works.
a choice.
Yeah.
It was just, for us to survive, we need to stick together as a family.
Mm-hmm.
We need to look out for each other. So what could account for that change, that evolution, that like societal evolution now?
I'd say
Who's
like
to blame?
to blame. Honestly, I think it's
Is
just
it God?
I'd say selfishness, like because we're on in this plane and we think that we need it. Like obviously we're in that mindset of I need it. The more I own, the more I trap my happiness, and the more I'll be able to last that happiness. And that like direct line of thinking is what stopped humanity from like it definitely shot us back like 10 freaking octaves of like evolution just because we got in that mindset of like, oh, the more I own, that means I'm gonna be happier. And then we realized honestly, now we're realizing like in this day and age, it took forever. It took so long after like tons of wars and tons of like killing and stuff like that. We realized that like you know how when the Spanish came to like conquer like the Native Americans, they said to the Native Americans like you can't own land. What do you mean? Like they were like laughing. They found it like laughable the idea of owning land because they're like land isn't ours to own. We're here for a specific amount of time just to we take what we need and we stop at that. We don't take we don't try and overcompensate like that. I've always been thinking about this concept recently. Like a child, like children in general, they don't really eat that much. They don't really feel that hungry as much as like usually grown adults do. Sure, you could obviously attribute that to evolution, but I've noticed that when we're in that kind of mentality of like if I eat one plate right now, that's just enough that satisfies me right now. But usually the beast gets into the mentality of, oh, I need to eat a plate for now, and I'm gonna eat the plate for later so that I don't get hungry later.
Okay, so who's to blame for that? That's the ultimate question. Who's to blame for that? Because if you say humans, that raises the question: how much control does God have? Is there even a God? If God doesn't have enough control to put us on the right track, what's the purpose of God? And is there even a God?
No, but the idea is basically that we chose to put ourselves in this situation so that we can evolve even because everything's in my opinion everything's everything's one. There is no separation. We put ourselves in this plane of separation to basically realize that the separation is just an illusion, and that's why a lot of people are still trapped in this illusion of constantly buying stuff to make themselves feel better. They keep on thinking that these personal items will make them as the person, but then eventually they'll get to that point where they're like, these personal items don't make me. This separation doesn't make me because everything's unity. I don't need anything from anyone. They don't need anything. You know.
Mm-hmm. I think I don't know. I feel like consciousness, the ability of like higher order consciousness that we have, actually was from like evolution. Like there were like people, there were humans that like were.
All right, so God doesn't exist.
No, you know, listen to what I'm gonna say. So there were humans that like had consciousness and they were more fit to survive, so they reproduced more, and then that became humans. But I still don't think that that's like a the actual like fact of like consciousness itself, like in our head that we're like thinking. That's like crazy. Like in our head, like are we thinking this or is it just like what? That's like
I know what you mean. It's very hard to articulate.
Exactly.
Basically, what you're trying to say, right, is every thought, like you specifically, I'm talking to whoever's watching this, every thought that you have, like the one about your reaction to me saying this, or your thought you had in the morning about what your plans were, or anything, or your thought like about when you're dating someone and say, oh, this is sad, we're going to break up soon. Like any thought you've ever had, isn't it scary to think that that thought may not be some uniquely human thought that's, you know, big brain, you're conscious. Maybe it's just a thought that was produced by this jumble of chemicals that kind of produced this feeling, which was this thought to you. Maybe your consciousness is no more different than the complex arrangement of ducks or whatever when they get in a V formation. Do you think that you can make that argument?
I think so, but
it's basically
again,
like consciousness is bullshit.
Yeah,
that it's not really anything.
That's the thing. Like I mean, I think if consciousness, I can't even like. That's what's crazy. Like consciousness, the idea of like thinking is like so crazy that like it could just like not be a thing, and then what would the universe be? Like it's just like if there's like nobody there to like see it, like what is the universe?
It's just physical matter that kind of evolved or devolved, if you want to say, into its next natural steps. Because I think the nature of nature is that it progresses, right? Is that it changes.
Life is like a process of relearning, like unlearning and relearning kind of thing. Like I've realized that a lot too. Like over time, I'm trying to like return to that mind state that I had, like finding fun in the most mundane things and finding bore in the most complex things. You know, as we grow older, we realize that our threshold for stimulation gets way more. We need the harder stuff. We need the more violent TV shows. We need the more darker things in order for us to actually get happy. Now, when we watch like something like, let's say, I don't know, freaking like Barney, we look at that and we're just like, wow, this was so boring. How did I ever like this as a kid? I feel like that's because we had all the internal satisfaction we had from the world was reflected in that external world. So even watching the most boring things could be like watching droplets of rain when in a moving car or stuff like that. They were so much more enjoyable because our internal world is so
That's
satisfying.
probably just because of desensitization. You know,
Yeah.
as a baby, literally coming out the womb, you have so much
Stimuli.
sensory like overload.
Yeah,
that
you
anything
literally-
is interesting, right? When you're, it's just natural and
Natural, yeah, exactly. That internal satisfaction is natural, and then this external world of civilization and stuff has been trying to teach us that it's that we have to look for this natural kind of stimulation
Well, it's
outside
not
of
really
us.
that we need to. I'm saying it's natural that we need to. I'm saying it's natural that 19-year-olds, 18-year-olds, 16-year-olds need more to be stimulated than a baby. And it's not like, oh, some big god. No, it's just natural. It's just basic.
Well-
but what you're okay, go ahead.
I think it's not even like, yeah, you could say it's like more, but like it's more like complex. Like we have to go like deeper into thought to be like, I mean, there's definitely like,
All right.
I think there's like a limit. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I can't say because I'm not an adult yet, but I'm sure you get to like the age of like 18 or whatever when your brain like sort of stops developing.
Yeah.
And you kind of like
Fucking sucks, man. It's so
you
depressing.
reach like a sort of like a not a peak, but like you get to a point where like you're kind of like at like the top of the like complexity of like thoughts, or like when you're the earlier like in life you are, like as a baby, you're not gonna have like the same consciousness that we do. You kind of need to learn that.
100%.
You need to like not learn that because that's like technically
You just
speaking, that's not
develop
the
it.
same
You
thing.
just develop it.
Yeah, and you like grow and grow, and as like a kid, you like see like someone going like, what is it?
Peekaboo.
Peekaboo. And you're like, oh my god, that's crazy.
Neurons firing.
And then, now like, you need to like be, I don't know, say like watching like some super complex movie that has like a really like developed plot. It can't just be like sounds on a screen and stuff. I mean, that's what it is, but like you have to be like interpreting it and thinking deeply about it to get like enjoyment from it. And I think that like reflects that you're just like growing in like your consciousness.
But the thing is though, notice how as we become like older and older, we desire, like I've noticed like when we're younger we want all this stimulation, we constantly want to be surrounded by friends, but as you get older and older you realize old people, like people don't want to be constantly surrounded by their friends. Like that's why they're pushing towards like things like doing nothing on weekends sometimes is the one thing they want, the only thing they plan on doing. Like even like meditating is pretty much like what the womb state is, of just finding yourself again, like of just shutting out everyone, shutting out all these external distractions, and just like look. Why would doing like think about it like this? Why would doing nothing be enjoyable if there was like no God? We wouldn't be gaining, because technically if there was no God, we'd be gaining everything just by doing anything. Like just me drinking a cup of water, me holding a cup of water. This is like the biggest thing ever. But
Well, no,
just
now
doing
you're
nothing.
just making assumptions on what God does.
No, but I'm just saying if we wouldn't be like if this world was all that existed and this was all it had to offer, we'd be finding like this would be the answer. But people are stepping back and doing nothing. It's like it's almost unbelievable in the sense that you wouldn't be gaining anything. So like logically, closing your eyes and doing nothing, you're not like it's not doing anything. But people are actually finding that you're calmer. They're
So you're saying that the fact that people can do nothing and still be
and enjoy it and like
still be satisfied is proof that there's a God.
basically, yeah, no, I'm saying
Yeah.
that like closing, like yeah, just doing nothing and being able to enjoy nothingness is like that's what I.
Okay.
Because we're returning
think-
to the void, you know.
Okay. I think we need it. We should have done this before, but we need to define consciousness. Which, trick question, I don't think we can. But you want to take a shot at it?
Dude,
I think I have like a very specific scientific idea of what it is. That's not just awareness of oneself or whatever. But
Well, yeah,
do
no.
you want to take a shot at it?
I can't even. I mean,
Begin to put into words, right?
exactly. Like I think the whole nature of consciousness is that it's like. I'm just sitting here thinking
do it,
that.
why can't we? Why can't we put it into words? Think about it. You can jump. You can say, yeah, jumping is when you exert force.
But you can't like define the thought that like
Yeah, jump
gives you that thought. Like what's okay? Can you like feel your thought in your head? Like what is that?
Yeah.
What like?
Oh, dude.
What? Do you know what I'm talking about? I can't, it's
Yeah.
really hard to like convey this, and I don't know if I can like get it through video, but like right now I'm kind of at a state right now where I'm like, it's like crazy to think that like I'm like what even like am I thinking right now? Like that's crazy. You know you have to like be like reach that like point where you're just like thinking about your like thoughts as just like
It's
I don't know.
it's metacognition. You're thinking about the fact that you're thinking, and you're thinking about the fact that you're thinking about the fact that you're thinking. Like there's so many layers to it.
I think if you're able to do, I think just doing that is kind of like maybe that's what consciousness is. That you can like be like I'm thinking because, I mean we can't tell if animals do that, but like
I don't even think people the definition on Google or most people will say is the state of being aware of one's surroundings and like being able to think about yourself thinking. But that I think that's just a behavior. That's an effect of consciousness, is being able to think about yourself thinking. But what is the essence of consciousness? I don't think anyone has answered that.
Yeah.
I don't know if we ever will.
You know the funny thing I've like realized, it just like this isn't really super related, but I was just thinking about how like the what's it called, the desire for evidence is a result of our like some people are way more willing to accept some things without like with zero evidence, and others are they need the utmost evidence. And I feel like it's just obviously everything comes in levels. Everything is like the yin yang balance of some kind of energy. Like and when someone like needs to feel something, they feel it, or when someone needs to consciously process it. Like if I tell you right now that like my stomach's hurting, you're just gonna be okay, yeah, I know what that feels like, and I'm like okay, explain to me exactly what it feels like. Like you know how I like and give me some exact research about that you kind of like you don't ask for that. People are just like okay, yeah, I know what you feel like, and I'm like okay, I accept it. But the funny thing is the fact that we desire evidence shows the fact that like we desire evidence. What's it gonna try to say? It's like it shows that our beast-like nature, it constantly wants to find reasons to believe things rather than just accepting. Let's say none of
Well, it's not.
It's like an everything or nothing existed kind of thing.
What it would be, what the alternate to that is being ignorant. So I think what you're saying is kind of
the
unreasonable.
thing is not completely.
It's either you know what's going on or you don't. I think it's natural that we want to know what's going on. Humans want to know reasons.
They want to know what's going on, but like the funny thing is they want to believe that they can believe themselves. So that's why they're gonna constantly ask other people. They're like, oh, okay, can you give me some research that going back and like writing and journaling my own thoughts is like beneficial for me, rather than just accepting the fact that they can journal.
So what you're saying is they
need reasons to trust themselves. They need reasons to trust themselves.
So another way to say it is for fear of being you're so happy.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was trying to get at, bro.
Enlightenment.
I'm gonna check the computer. We got 50 seconds.
Clutch, bro.
Okay, I guess we'll just cut after I said so happy. I was gonna say, whatever.
Just finish what you're saying.
I was gonna say it's like that we're so fearful of being ignorant,
Of trusting ourselves.
We come up with the wrong answers to things.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of saying, it's like with cognitive dissonance, same thing. Instead of saying, hey, I have a stomach pain. Why do I have stomach pain? Instead of being like, yeah, you know what, I probably won't know because I'm not a doctor. Instead of doing that, we come up with some dumb reasoning like, oh, maybe it's because I had a tough day at work yesterday. We always have an answer for everything. Always. Why did your girlfriend cheat on you? It's not like, I don't know. It's always, I don't know, maybe we were just growing apart. We always have an answer.
Yeah, exactly.
So Ackerman is essentially saying, and I'll kind of put words into your mouth, but this is probably what you meant, that humans are so fearful of
Trusting
ignorance,
themselves, yeah.
of trusting themselves, of ignorance, that they would rather come up with the wrong answer than not come up with any answer at all.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, oh, I have a headache. It's not like, oh, I don't know why I have a headache. It could be a number of reasons. I'm not a doctor. I don't know. Instead of that, they go, oh, maybe because I was stressed at work. Oh, my kids have been giving me a hard time. Always have to have an answer for anything.
They're constantly trying and attempting rather than just like it's the idea of like chasing versus attracting. You know, it's like some people they look for opportunities.
Spiritualists over here, man.
Like people are constantly like chasing the next big thing, the next like they never want to actually like go. They never want to like let it come into their lives. They want to always like go for the. Think about it like this: an animal in the wild, it's always like lions or any kind of carnivores. They're constantly like looking for the next meal. They're constantly chasing. But like you realize the animals that are usually the calmer ones, the ones that are not so aggressive, are the ones that like are that let nature give them the what's it called, the sustenance they need around them. Let it grow in front of them and then they eat it.
So being passive or trying to chase something that might be unattainable.
It just leads to depression, and you constantly feel like you need to get it. It's like a rat race. It's like you're a cycle of a hamster cycle.
Dude, wait, I just dude, hold this.
What are you
This is
doing?
an ice pack.
Yeah.
How do you describe that feeling?
I'm cold.
What is that?
How did somebody come up with the word cold though? You know what I mean? And how did it become so prevalent? How did the labeling of the word become so successful that now when you go up to everyone in the world, even a 3-year-old, they would say cold? Because think about that. Somebody had to at one point say, when you're what's the chemics of something being cold?
It's just that the energy in it or like the movement of the atoms in it
Slow.
is just low. It's less.
Okay, so when atoms are moving slowly, that will produce this effect that's, what's the word? What should I think of? Maybe a 4-letter word? Cold. I'm going to name it cold. And then within years, a 3-year-old feels something cold and say, this feels cold. That process, we don't need to dive deep into that, but that process of labeling words to things.
It's so powerful. It's hella powerful. Like a lot of the words that we use today, like you'd be surprised at how much like
everything is.
If you like break it apart, if you break apart words, like you'll realize like there's this one YouTuber I've been watching a lot. He's been talking he's been separating words, and that's legitimately changed my whole perception of so many things. Like let me give you an example. Maybe for like persona, he's been like he just breaks the word apart. He's like, okay, persona is sound. Peer, as in peering through sound, as in we are like we each go to like our own vibration, and we're each he has so many, dude. It's like unbelievable how much
Alone, all one.
Yeah, exactly, that kind of stuff, dude. That's exactly what I mean. Because if you break down words, you'll realize like the separation we've created through these words, it's so much more than dude, it needed to.
Asshole. Oh my god. Yo. Alright, so what's consciousness? Okay, I'm gonna give my answer.
Or no, even like asshole, like an asshole is a sensitive spot. So it's asshole is a sensitive person.
Hey yo.
That's not what an asshole is though.
No, but like someone who constantly is taking things to heart whenever anyone's talking.
Maybe this is just an example of what we're talking about. How humans always want to assign meaning to things.
Yeah, no, but that's the funny thing.
That's what words are.
If we look through any word, if we look at any word, we can make we can make anything come from nothing.
You're right.
You know?
You're right. Okay, I'm gonna call for my dad. I'm gonna keep it rolling.
No, you're not.
Hello. Yeah. Not yet. I'm not really sure. I was thinking of becoming vegan. All right. Bye.
Why does he put down his Miranda?
It's a long story. You're not ready for it,
Alright then.
dude. Okay, consciousness.
Or even marriage, a mirror image, as in that person's supposed to represent like the version of you who is like either the same or opposite gender. Like,
dude, you should talk to Mark about this. This is like literally what he's studying.
Exactly. That's why it's so cool to find like even
Dude, it's just
colonization, as in colon. Like they've been their colons are inflamed. Their colons are like, dude, no, legitimately, no, I'm not even joking. You find any meaning from any word. You find any meaning.
Only people who are colonized that have they're just butts inflamed.
Yeah, exactly. They don't have a clean system, so therefore they cannot look at the like. Dude, I don't know, bro.
This is like legitimately. You're like so deep, bro. Or it's like you're in class.
No, exactly. You think it's like the joking type deep, right? Like the ones that are like the stupid ones, like is water wet type shit,
how
right?
about this one? Consciousness. It's all a long con by God. Ooh,
Yeah, what is
I'm fucking
shitness
kidding.
then?
Alright.
Consciousness.
Okay,
Don't worry
yeah,
about it.
let's
Okay.
move on.
Consciousness. Here's my big opinion, my big theory of what consciousness is, and it's very specific because the goal here is to put consciousness into an operational definition. Am I right, Ian?
Yeah.
Fucking right, because right now consciousness is this abstract
So
idea.
esoteric.
If you want to make it scientific, you're gonna put it in scientific terms. So here's what I think the essence of consciousness is. I think it's your ability to sense things, sensation. So, you know, the pons or whatever in your brain relays sensory information, doesn't matter. And memory, hippocampus, long-term memory.
Yeah.
Because memory is the foundation for consciousness. Repeat it.
Memory is the foundation for consciousness. I agree.
I don't wait. Memory is the foundation for consciousness.
Think about when you were a baby, you weren't forming memories.
Yeah, it was.
Facts!
I remember 2 years old.
Man, shut
Okay, well
I
then
swear to God, bro.
What
My
about when you were
earliest
one?
memory.
Fake
What about when
memory.
you were one?
Fake memory.
No, it was not a fake memory because
You
I
know how
asked my
many
cousin.
fake
I asked my
memories you
cousin. No, like legitimately, my earliest memories being of 2 years old is when my grandpa he hired a butcher and he like sliced the throat of a lamb, and that's like my earliest memory.
Sure, but were you there? You
Yes,
know,
I was there. I was right next to Ashraf
There's
too. He's on my right
there's
side.
Probably a
They-
story
No,
that
no,
you heard
I
and
had-
you put yourself in
No,
the
no,
situation.
no, no. I legitimately didn't. I brought it up to my mom like a few years later. She's like, "Oh, what you like?" You remember that? I was just like, "Yeah." Like legit, I always bring up these old like memories that my parents are just like not super conscious of, or when they talk about
but
random
that's not
Okay, that's when you were
but-
2.
No, no,
Think
but
about when you were 1.
No,
one,
no,
yeah,
hold
no.
on. But that's not proof that your uncle or somebody didn't tell you the story before, and your mom.
Yeah.
No one talk. I don't
story.
have any. I don't have any connections with my extended family. I only visited them once in
Okay.
2004, and
All
then
right.
not again until
All
2012.
right, well, you might be right, but the memories are way more erroneous than we think. Way
Yeah.
more.
Yeah, of course.
It's very
yeah,
easy
no,
to
yeah.
implant fake memory.
Yeah, no, I don't like that. I
But
understand that.
Ian's point was that when you're younger, you don't remember stuff when you're younger. Why is that? How come nobody stopped and said, "Wait, why don't we remember things when we're a baby?" It's because
Your frontal lobe is not as developed.
you don't have as much consciousness.
No, some people do
No
remember.
consciousness,
Yeah.
no memory.
I've watched I've been watching like some random like documentaries. There's these guys like who talks about legitimately remembering not only just being in the womb, but he remembers being an entity who entered entering his mother's womb and
Yeah.
becoming like part become.
That's a little
Dude, no,
bit
but like I know legitimately
Come on,
how
Akram, you can't
freaking
do that.
no how freaking specific his story was. It's like it's almost unbelievable how like he described the
almost
exact
unbelievable.
No, he described the exact details
Yeah.
of what, and then he talked to his parents about it. He's famous too. It's not even just like random.
Dude, you just told his parents to say that. What do you mean? It's
You guys are
I don't
letting
trust
you guys
that.
are letting
Alright,
left
it's fine.
overpower right.
That
No,
might
think
be
about it
true.
like this. You guys left when you're doing this. You're like maybe if I was like if you're the most objective as you think you would be, you'd just be like okay, like that's the most like objective answer. Okay.
No, I'm just
But, like,
doubting it. That's
yeah,
it.
no, but that doubt comes from the left side of the brain. One that
Dude,
like
it just comes from reason. Like that's
Yeah.
like the reason, dude, I feel like the reason
Yeah.
I'm more inclined to listen to the more feeling aspect of things versus the more like logical is because this whole world has been like constantly obsessed by logic its whole time, and that's why-
maybe it's because, as we've said, humans strive to assign meaning to everything.
When you say consciousness, what exactly do you mean?
Well, so I think that consciousness is pretty much the mix of two things. Sensation is one thing, and memory. So those are very biological things, right? Sensation, there's something in your brain that relates sensory information, the pons, whatever it's called. Memory, long-term memory, hippocampus, part of your brain that stores long-term information, things that you've learned. The example I like to use that kind of demonstrates this is a Homo erectus back in the prehistoric age, like a mix between a man and an ape. And I imagine them like in the savannah when they're trying to get food. There's like an apple and a branch. And they're like, in order to get the apple, they have to jump up. They're not really conscious that they're jumping up. They just train to do it because that's what they need to do to grab the apple to eat so they can live. And when they jump, they feel their muscles strain because naturally when you jump, you feel like your muscles strain, right? You can feel them working. The first time he does it, or she, they don't really feel anything, right? They're not conscious of the muscle strain. It just kind of happens. But once that gets stored into the long-term memory, and they do it again and again and again, and they sense it more and more, they'll build this database for that feeling, that sensation. So the next time they do it, they're going to jump up, they're going to feel the strain in their muscles, and they're going to think, hey, I remember this, because they have that long-term memory with their hippocampus, they're able to do that, and think, hey, I remember this. I had the same feeling before. Maybe this happens when I like jump. And then a week later, they're like running, and they feel their muscles straining the same way, and they already have some like this precursor for that, or this like context for that, right? They say, maybe when I move and use my muscles, I feel that strain sensation. Next thing you know, this motherfucker's conscious. What do you think?
Yeah. Dude, I can't like. We already talked about this.
Bro, don't say that. I had to cut that too, you fucking idiot. Oh my god.
You don't want to say
Ian,
that?
buddy, no, I had to cut it. Yeah, we're gonna say that it cut, and I'm just doing this all over. Ian, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think, like with the example with the baby that like don't remember anything, like you have to like develop your consciousness like as you do throughout until whatever you're like 20, like 18 or whatever, because you're like your consciousness is growing, so it shows like you're that.
Do you think that's what consciousness is? Do you agree with my hypothesis?
Yeah.
Is consciousness merely the hippocampus and the pons in your brain that, or whatever is in charge of sensing things, of sensation? Is that all that consciousness is? Those two things?
No,
Think about it.
I think there's a certain part to it that's like that I think maybe you could attribute to God or some higher being. That would be like the free will of it, or like the ability of humans to be able to like give like moral reasoning to things. So that's not like that's like sort of part of memory that like more like certain people will just like have like certain beliefs or whatever, which actually yeah maybe that's like memory, but like there's a part to it.
Right.
No, but the thing is that part of us.
There's like a free will part to it, which I've said before.
Yeah, the free will part is the part where we're failing, is because we're not actually applying everything we we know.
What's the free will part?
The free will part is the
Put it
part.
into word. No, give me a
ability
fucking
to
one
make-
sentence with specific words on what free will is. Don't go on a 10-minute tangent.
Choosing not to do what you know is right.
No,
Okay,
it's
okay.
the ability. It's the ability to do that. I'd say. I mean, you have the ability to choose whether to do something that's like evolutionarily, socially, or whatever, right in whichever way, or do like another thing which like makes no sense in terms of that, and that is just like based
Proof.
on whatever.
Proof. You're just saying something. You're just saying this cup is white. What's the proof? You just said we have the ability. Okay, who says who? Says you?
Dude, I can literally
What's the
stand
proof?
up right now and pull down my pants.
Ooh!
Yeah, but who knows? Who knows?
No, I'm joking.
Who knows? But yeah, that's such a stupid argument though. Yeah, I can throw this cup right now. I can throw this at Akram's head. I can strangle Akram. I can get naked and show my dick to the camera. If that happens, that was going to happen. The different events led to that happening. The different neural or chemical reactions led to that happening. My evolution back from when I was a baby, all my personality, everything I've learned from my family, from friends, from seeing on the news, all of that led to this one moment of me throwing this cup at Akram's head. It's not like, oh, free will. Everything you do, what I'm doing right now with my hands, me grabbing this phone, me hitting your head, you reacting to it by hitting my head, it's not free will. It's just a natural moving process of biology. Mic drop, bitch.
All
What's
right.
your counter?
But you got what I said right about the whole. You got
The
what I-
proof is that
choosing not to do what you know is right.
Yeah, I thought that was actually really profound. Isn't like I shouldn't eat these snacks right now, man. It's good to be healthy. Now I'm gonna do it anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
But if anything, I think it's actually really profound. But I guess the basic counter argument to that is the reason we are driven to do those things is to fulfill our basic biological needs like sugar, like anything that fills us up, that satiates us, right? So, I probably should wear a condom with this girl.
No,
That's
I mean,
definitely the right thing to do, but it feels good, so I'm not going to do it. To me, that's not proof of consciousness. That's proof of our primal instincts kicking in.
Yeah, that's what I mean. The godlike nature and the beast, and that's why they're
Okay.
constantly conflicting.
Okay.
That's what I meant by the conflicting of the.
Okay, so you're just saying that those evolutionary.
Because sometimes we'll
instincts.
choose not to eat that extra piece of chocolate cake, and other times we do. That's when we only. I honestly think free will
But listen,
is like a direct reflection
sure.
of free won't, of choosing not to do what is right, and we're choosing to do what is wrong. You know?
Okay, so the times that you decided to do it, that is what's going to happen. The times you decided
The
not to do it,
crossroads.
that was also going to happen. Everything was going to happen, no matter what. It's so dumb to look back in your life and be like, wow, I definitely have free will because I decided to go to this college. No! There's no such thing as deciding. It just happens. You just fell into that situation.
Yeah, true. No, there is a hint of like being pushed into some situation. Like, no, my parents want me to go to like American, but I chose to go to San Jose. You know, like that. There is that. Obviously that aspect of like some kind of like shaping process. But I'm just saying like there also comes that time where you're at that crossroads. You're like, oh, should I buy this pair of Ultras or should I buy this pair of Hokas? I know the Ultras are the more natural like ones that like keep my foot like zero drop, and then I know these Hokas are the ones that like they have drop, but the thing is I know they'll protect me better from injury. It's like obviously just the weighing the pros and cons, just like with everything. But I truly don't think there is more than two
Dude,
options.
you know what this is making me think? That this whole conversation about whether or not we have free will is misguided. It's like, what is free will even? You know?
Dude, why do
What
we
is
have to free will? Why can't we free Alex?
It's not, I'm gonna cut that part out for sure.
Not come
But
on.
seriously, what even is free will? Is it this? Is it? You know what? Free will is sort of it's no. It's the opposite of randomness. No, it is randomness. Oh
Yeah,
my
it
god!
is,
Now I'm getting in
exactly.
my own head. Right? It's the idea that if you went back in time, you could have
Yeah.
done this path. Like
No,
let's say you
look
went
at it
back
this
in your
way.
life. If I went back in my life and restarted, and I didn't go to American University and went to another college, that would be proof that there's free will.
Or if you cloned yourself and you like did something
No,
different.
because the clone goes through different learning experiences
Yeah.
in a different
Yeah,
environment.
I know, but if you had him go through the exact same thing,
Okay, you're right.
you
Sure.
literally clone yourself right now and we're
Sure.
like, alright,
Sure, but
I'm
the
going
better
to punch
way.
someone in the face right
Sure.
now, and one does and the other one doesn't.
Yeah. Well, I had this really good example that literally demonstrates that free will is impossible. Do you remember what it was?
No,
Okay, I have two examples. One was better than the other, but I don't remember the second one. The second one was an experiment that this YouTuber did by the name of Vsauce. You know what Vsauce is, right?
I'm watching the video, bro.
He has this experiment. I can bring
Sorry.
up the food. He has this experiment. He has this show called Minefield in which he does
It's actually
various psychological experiments in his video. So he has like a 30-minute video about some psychological concept like free will, for example. What?
Don't tell you.
What'd you guys do?
No, he just rubbed my foot. Whatever. No, he did. It's
Dude,
okay.
continue.
Y'all's gay down here. Okay.
No, dude, I was just giving him.
Hey, relax,
Go, go,
homie.
go.
Okay, we're very inclusive on this podcast, except for. Now I have to cut. So whatever it was, he had these options to click on either a red button or a green button. Very simple. One or two. These electrodes that attach to his brain will pick up when he makes a decision, whether consciously or subconsciously. So when that machine determined that he made the decision, it would make a beeping sound. So they would say, okay, Vsauce, choose one. And he wouldn't even lift up his hand, and it would already beep. He would be like, beep, how did it know? Beep, how did it know? Like he's trying to click on green, but before he even moves his hand, it knows what it's gonna do. So you know what that proves? There's some other force that is driving us to make decisions that we are not conscious of. That's not us. It's another force. It's either God or just basic biology,
Dude,
right?
yeah, see, that's crazy. That's like, so then that like totally shifts my view on it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Why?
he's like, it beeps before he does it. The brain makes the decision, like the whole biology and like chemistry of the brain.
Before you do. And what is you or consciousness?
No, what I get from that is your brain makes the decision unconsciously, like that's like the part from the memory.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're like, that's like the making sense of it.
Mm.
And then when your brain makes the decision, it goes into your consciousness. Like then you think it. Like the thinking is the product of the of the brain deciding to do something.
Exactly. It's the product. So who has control over it? It's not you. It's already happening. If you aren't involved in the decision-making process to do something, then you aren't making the decision. Right? Right? Right?
Yeah.
Yes. So therefore that proves if the methods were sound, everything was correct, that proves that we don't have free will. That raises the question, what the fuck even is free will? This is casting some doubt on the whole validity of this whole discussion. Maybe you can still have consciousness and free will at the same time. Maybe consciousness is just awareness of your decisions after the fact.
No, okay, again, so
You're not mutually exclusive.
You came up with this consciousness like definition.
Yes.
Where it's consciousness is like the combination of memory and sensation.
Mm-hmm.
But what that one shows is that your conscious brain, like what we're thinking of right now, what is like going through our head as we're talking. You know what I'm talking about? That is not the part influenced by memory, but the part that's influenced by memory and your experiences and like what you're perceiving, like that is like a more subconscious mind, because that's like you're like you've taught all these things, you've been conditioned to think all these things, and you have all these memories, and your subconscious brain decides to act like that. But then your conscious brain is separate from that. It's not the one based on memories.
So your subconscious mind is making your decisions, and your conscious mind is interpreting them.
Yeah.
Boom.
That's kind of crazy.
Beep,
That's so.
beep, boop, beep, beep.
I think you might have changed my view on that, because, dude, like when I think about it like that, and like, I believe, like I feel like I have free will. Like right now, I'm like I can do whatever, but
it's not true.
But
everything
that
we're doing right now,
shows it.
me putting this cup here, me moving my hands like this, me taking this from you, me hitting you in the head, and you not hitting me back, that is all not free will. That's not me deciding to do those things, because I already decided to do it before I decided to do it. And if that sounds convoluted, then I'm sorry, but it's true. My subconscious mind decided to do these things before I, as a conscious, interpreting being, decided to do them.
That's crazy.
Maybe we don't have free will. And what's the implication? Should we blame Hitler?
Dude, okay. This is kind of connected to like everything from this. Why does it matter? Like life is gonna go on normally, and I'm still like feeling it the normal. Like so I have this revelation. Like so, like occasionally I'll be like, dude, that's crazy. Like
you can forget about it. You can forget about it.
Not even that. It's just like so. Like I'm still feeling everything the same. Like I can't change that.
True. In theory, the implications of that idea are life altering. Are very, and they should be unsettling, because what it is that your 4.0 grade point average in high school, your home run derby when you're in Pee-wee as a 9-year-old, you getting that girlfriend and falling in love, you getting the other girlfriend and falling in love, you being really interested in law and becoming a lawyer, that is not you. That was just going to happen. That is nothing. You're just a fucking animal who's waking up, who's brushing their teeth, who's taking a shower, not because you think it's a good idea to wake up, brush your teeth, and take a shower, but because you are wired and predisposed to do so.
And that's why it's crucial that when we're in school, like in those formative years, that we're taught that our potential is unlimited. We've been limited so much over the years that like we have to do the way that things have been done, and that's why like our evolution is way slower than it could have been over time. Like that's why like every day I try and change something new. Like maybe instead of like brushing my teeth, because I've been like reading like different things, like instead of like brushing, like apparently makes like barely any difference using toothpaste or not using toothpaste when you're brushing your teeth.
Corporations, bro, they're trying to milk us.
Yeah, dude.
No more brushing teeth.
Yeah, but your breath doesn't smell as good.
No, it does. It actually doesn't make a.
It doesn't matter if you don't get bitches.
Woo! They clean like everything. Like it still cleans the same amount. It's just that it's just a matter of just the mind and the way that we've been brainwashed over time to believe that we have to be doing things the way it's always been done in order for us to.
Yeah.
That's the same. It's funny. This also learns from Vsauce. I think it was also Minefield.
Shout out Vsauce.
Is the thing okay? You think of like bacon and eggs. That's like the classic breakfast, right? Mm-hmm. Like, what do you?
They sold it to us. They sold that idea.
No.
Marketing.
Sigmund Freud's like cousin or something.
No way.
I forget his name. He was like this guy trying to like. He was just kind of like a no. His name wasn't even Freud.
Dead chicken, fetus, and pig ass.
What?
That's what we're eating. We're eating
No.
suffering.
Okay, listen. So this guy.
You're right. You're a vegan. He gets it. He gets it. Hey, check the camera
So
real
basically,
Keep going.
this guy Sigmund Freud's cousin, whatever. He's like his marketing guy, or whatever you want to call it, whatever you call it.
How many minutes?
And
What do you do? What do you do? Go to the point.
so. God,
12
Jake,
minutes.
So he had some connection to the egg brand, right? And okay, I don't know, I said this before. He goes to a doctor, right, and goes, would you agree that it's good to have a heavy breakfast, right? And he's like, I suppose so. And then he gets 99 other doctors to agree to that. He says, he doesn't want to say, oh yeah, I think it might be a good idea to have a heavy breakfast. So then he says, okay, so bacon, that's like a heavy food to eat, bacon and eggs. And he had some connection to whatever the bacon, like the pork industry or the eggs industry, the poultry industry, and he got that to be in everyone's head as like the typical breakfast. I assume just in America, but I mean that like influences everywhere else.
Yeah.
And now everyone's like, oh, it's a good idea, but it's just because this one guy decided to make everyone
It's
do
the
this.
smallest gestures. People just mention things offhandedly, loosely, and it makes the biggest difference. That's why it's so dangerous.
Okay,
That's
it's
not-
not.
It's hella dangerous
Yeah,
because they can be mentioning things that they later realize that was a mistake.
No,
like
no,
even
no.
the person.
You're not getting this, bro. This is a very highly coordinated and a highly planned marketing maneuver
He knew exactly
to
what he was
sell eggs and
Bacon.
pigs because his cousin or brother was in the pig industry and they wanted to cut a check. It's capitalism.
Yeah.
I mean,
But I know what you're saying, that like you can make a tiny decision and it'll ripple through all of society, right?
I was gonna say like that's why it's so dangerous to sometimes like even scientists who don't really mean anything wrong when like saying 3 meals a day, like that obviously just keeps you just consuming more, but they don't gain anything inherently, or there is no marketer trying to sell you. Maybe if it was like a specific thing like bacon and egg companies, but let's say take away the whole company's idea, like the 3 meals a day thing. People, they're super offhanded. They're like, okay, I feel okay off of this 3 meals a day, but then in reality, it kind of takes away from the idea of like sometimes like fasting. Your body you give your body time to actually digest the food that you're eating instead of just piling on, and so you're so like inebriated and you're so like drugged up.
You're saying we probably shouldn't be eating 3 meals a day.
Yeah.
And the only reason we are is because people told us to, and when we believed it.
Exactly.
How do we connect this to God? I mean.
I think we gotta end this podcast soon.
So God, do you believe in God?
Yeah.
Do you believe in God? Yes or no answer.
Yes.
Do you believe in God? No.
Hey, one thing
Nothing's
though,
really changed. Nothing's really changed.
I'd
We had
say
a
one
conversation.
big change is like the whole free will thing totally changed. Like I used to have this view that free will, and maybe that's like a stepping stone. Maybe I'm gonna go back to not believing in God. Maybe, but I don't know if I.
Fuck Jesus.
I think I still like have like a strong belief that there's got to be some like higher being that's like set
Okay,
the universe
what
in
about
place.
this idea? If God is so almighty, justified, omnipotent, omniscient, whatever, knows everything, is the ultimate truth, why would God decide to put non-believers in hell? That seems like a really fucking stupid, irrational, unjustified
Okay,
thing to
I don't
do.
believe in
Yeah,
God
it was
like
Think
that.
about this. You know how many fucking scientists are out there that don't believe in God? All of them are gonna go to hell because they came to the rational
believe
conclusion that
that.
there isn't some dude in
Yeah,
the
no,
sky.
that's the most, that's like
That's
the
what the Bible
beast
says.
jaded perspective on God. I'm talking about the holistic perspective of the God being within us and that there is no good or bad.
I'm
kind of
talking
thing.
about. I'm fucking aiming my weapons
Oh,
at
yeah,
Christianity
religion,
and systematic religion, or like the institution of religion that says if you don't believe in God and you don't fucking give away your all that you have within you to Jesus, if you don't not drink,
I think
that's
you save your
stupid.
virginity.
Yeah, that is stupid.
Dude, why God? I think if there was a God, if he even had like a will to like actually want us to do things, then he would just be like, I feel like it would be more he would just want us to live. Like what? I don't think we should have to worry about all these like deep like questions, or not even just. I mean, I think you should
Little
still,
did they
still
know that.
should.
Yeah.
But I think more importantly, God would want people to, like live life and like be a good person. That's it. Like just like do it and like live like basically just like doing what you're supposed to, not just supposed to do, but like yeah, just being a good person basically. So I don't think your belief should really have an effect on that, because that's not what the point of life is. The point of life is not to satisfy God.
Yeah, and little did they know that Earth has the potential to be both hell and heaven, and that hell is what you make it, and life is what you hell is what you make of it, and life is how you take it.
Bro, I'm pretty sure hell is just gonna be objectively bad.
Hell no, but the thing is, you can be living your own hell right now, and then I'd have no clue. I wouldn't look at it as hell from my perspective, but it's still hell for you.
Sure,
or
sure.
you could be in heaven right now.
What this makes me think about is that there's all these different ways to interpret religious entities in worlds, right? So all of them can't be true, and I'm sure you guys have heard this counter argument to religion that every religion cannot, by definition, be true because they're contradictory. What is as a man of faith, Ian, what is your counter to that counter? What's a way around that?
What do you mean? What does that disprove about God being real?
It doesn't, but it shows that whatever you subscribe to can be false. Unless you're gonna sit here and say that my exact ideology on God and Christianity is superior to everyone else in the world, it contradicts mine. If you're gonna sit there and say that, then that's by all means go ahead.
I would say that it's less like, I think mine's a lot simpler. It's a lot less like God did all of these things. He has all these beliefs. So in that sense, I think it's less. There's more stuff open. When I say I believe in God, I just think that there's like has to be some like higher. There's something bigger than humans. Yeah. Even if it's like another being similar to us, and then there's another being above that. Yeah. There's something that's like put our universe into place, and that is like a cause of this. Like it's not just like there.
But even everything we talked about earlier, that doesn't change your perspective on that. Remember in the beginning about how you're saying, the argument is that nature is so perfect. Of course, there has to be something, and then me saying, well, no. I mean, for us to be here, nature had to be perfect, and it seems perfect because it worked out, but it worked out because we're here. Does that not change your perspective at all? Does it just bounce off of you?
I don't know. I still
lost for words.
I still think it's like, no, I just don't.
How much of that do you think is you wanting to just embrace these feelings, these metaphysical feelings, abstract feelings, instead of being realistic?
It's like a decent size, but I think it truly is like more just me being like.
It's arrogant of me to assume that there's nothing that I am the end all be all.
Yeah, sort of, and almost like, I think logically thinking of it, like the complexity of things, I think is just crazy.
Yeah, so you're saying it's arrogant of you to assume that you know everything and that you know the fact that there is nothing. Because technically that's like saying
it's realistic.
That there's no other kids that are going to be born after me, It's kind of like that kind of idea.
I think you're kind of touching the argument that the only thing we can know is that we know nothing. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you both subscribe to that. But at the end of the day, as human beings, we almost need to believe in something, right? We would not have gotten to this point, this complex society we have, where there's these institutions like marriage and transportation and home life and all this stuff. We would not have gone to this complex of a society or this advanced, whatever we want to put it, if we didn't at least believe in some things. Mm-hmm. If we completely embraced that notion that the only thing we can believe is that we don't believe anything, we would still be lying around with sheets around us like Socrates talking. Here, wait, come here. I want to get your opinion.
Alright, we gotta wrap this up.
Come here, I want to get your opinion.
If we don't stop it.
This is my father, John Dickinson. You're gonna have to come back here actually to get in front of the camera. We're talking about religion. This mic isn't working, but we're pretending like it is. We started the podcast off by this very simple question, and I want a yes or no answer first. Do you believe in God?
Oh, what's God?
I just want a yes, whatever you think God is. I mean, I knew you'd be doing this.
What do you define as God?
What do you define as God? And then a yes or no with that.
I believe what Ian said here. There's something bigger than humans.
Okay. So spiritualist. Okay.
It's not spirit. I don't know. Akram's like all this like, he's like, I don't know. It's like I think it's a pretty different belief than I have. It's like
the
more
gods
like
and everything.
Appreciate it.
He has a more of like a meaning to it, I think, or there's more of like a, I mean, I don't know, it's just like more spiritual. It's just like, I have this like energy of like my life or whatever.
Like a realm of like for me, it's just like like I said that the God lies everywhere. Like God doesn't just lie. God just doesn't lie above or below. God lies like in front of us. God is here. God is us. We are gods like that. And we create our own realities. That's kind of my basic view on it. We create hell or we create heaven.
All right, let's get this
So
done.
I want to finish that one last idea before we go. And
Can I put God in front of the camera?
go for it. This is my dad showing proof that we never truly grow up. So I just want to finish that last idea that if we never believed in anything, we would. Yo, you gotta cut this out. I only have. Can you check how much time is left? Actually,
Oh
really
shoot,
quick.
it's closed. 12 minutes is up.
Is there a red at the very top right? Top.
Yeah.
How many
Look
minutes?
left.
How many minutes?
50 seconds, right?
Can't tell. 2 minutes.
2 minutes 15 seconds. We gotta go. Finish it up.
So, if we believed in this notion that there's no sense in believing because we can know nothing, we can't be for sure about anything, we would just be lying around in these rags, ancient Greece, just philosophizing all the time. For us to be productive and build, we need to be pragmatic and just forget about that and just make assumptions. You need to make assumptions. So the assumption I'm making, maybe just like not dissimilar to the assumption you're making that God exists, is that we can have faith in the science that we have now, right? The main counter argument to God is science, right? I'm a Christian, okay? Science. That's all I have to say. Science. Science has shown that that is not possible. And the counter argument to that is, oh, we don't know anything. We don't know anything. We have no idea, right? Maybe science is wrong. Okay, cool. I'm going to choose to make the assumption to believe in science because my other choice is just not doing anything, and I don't want to be a passive human being.
If you spend all the time thinking about this stuff, then you're just not gonna move
You gotta
forward.
make
So
a
you have to, like-
decision.
You have to be like, okay, this is what I think.
Yeah.
So
All right. So you think God
I'll-
still exists? You think there's a spiritual being, and I think there probably
I
isn't.
think we are the spiritual being. I think
You think
everything has
everything
cause and
is?
effect. Everything is a balance.
we
We're
just-
yin and yang kind of thing. That's what my main point that I've always been trying to get to is like the kind of law of polarity that there comes no down without no up. There comes no happiness without
Yeah, okay.
sadness kind of thing. Like,
Okay.
Alright.
but at the same time, it's all just illusions because in the end, there's still it's two sides of the same coin. You know, there's still it's just ways of separating ourselves. But in reality, it is the same. It's the same entity. It's like it's still the godlike aspects
Check
of
the
it.
camera really quick.
Dude,
Yeah.
we were just talking about how you can't. 21 seconds.
Okay, that pretty much wraps it up. We had a lot to talk about today. We didn't just talk about religion. We talked about free will versus determinism. We talked about what else? We talked about Ian.
We talked about God. Obviously.
We talked about corporatism and this capital system that basically engineers desire that shouldn't be there. And Ian's now touching my leg, so we gotta get going. Any final words? Keep it short.
Epstein didn't kill himself.
Akram, final words.
There is no separation.
Great. All right. So I'm glad you guys could join us at Small Talk Big World podcast where we talk about anything with anyone, anywhere, at any time. We got a lot of podcasts coming up soon. A lot of special guests, special events. Rumors are I think Dwayne The Rock might be coming on next week. So, yeah.
I lost the game.
Stay tuned. Sweet. Oh God! Watch it wasn't recording.
All that footage got deleted.
I'm pissed. I'm kind of a hoarder for information. Is it going?
Yeah.
First initial one.
Ian, because you literally came to an enlightenment on the podcast.
Oh my god, I'm Dexter, I'm the smartest motherfucker on the planet. Fuck Jimmy Neutron, I'm the smartest kid in the motherfucking universe. Oh my god, I'm Dexter. Dexter's Lab. DD, get out my lab. Hoes on my slab, bitches in my lab. Damn, I'm Dexter, I'm a scientist. Hoes on my dick, wanna cheat off my test. Wanna be.
Is this sink water?
Yeah.
Wait, is it okay to drink sink water?
Dude, what do you mean? Yeah, obviously.
I don't know.
Have you never? Had
I always drink
single
filtered water from
Really?
the fridge. Yeah.
one? Whack.
Oh fuck.
Wanna be my partner when we do assignments.